Hey everyone, I'm Ann. Welcome to the Let's Get Naked podcast, where we dive deep into vulnerability. In this space, we'll explore what triggers us, uncover the patterns holding us back, and discover how to take charge of our own growth. If you're ready to dig in, be vulnerable, and face the tough stuff, then buckle up. It's time to get naked. So, for everyone that's listening at home, I had been playing around with what my intro was going to look like. And obviously, we want to be able to start the episode by saying, here's what it is, to kind of lay the groundwork for maybe new listeners. And then I had been testing out things where I was kind of generating a blurb about what that day's topic was going to be. And a couple weeks ago, I got a phone call from my daughter who said, Mom, no one wants to listen to you read an AI-generated rant or whatever the hell we call it. And so I'm saying that for several reasons. One, I'm going to get naked today as well by saying that and being vulnerable about that, because that was a hard conversation to have. I have traditionally been a person over the course of my life who has surrounded myself with yes people a little bit. And I am leaning into really requesting feedback and receiving feedback, even though that feels really hard. And so when she called me, it felt like a punch in the gut. And it ended up coming on a day when I was already dealing with tough stuff by dropping my son off at college, which was rough. And the universe knows that in order to crack me, I need two big punches, not just one. And so listening to her coming from a place of love and sharing that feedback with me was important. But I wanted to share that with the listeners because I take my own advice and I will lead with vulnerability. So as I do kind of the setup for today's guest, please show me some grace, because I'm sitting here on the couch with an amazing woman who I'm super excited for everyone to get to listen to and to see, but I don't have a prepared anything to kind of lead into her. And so I'm going to just share a little bit off of her questionnaire, and also just then her and I will just get into our conversation. And so as I'm rambling here, setting up for my guest, it is what it is. It's not AI generated, it's Ann Carber generated, and this is what it is. So it's okay. So, so as I was reading my next guest's answers to the questions that she had on the questionnaire, I found myself in awe. And I say that because this podcast has really put people in my path that I'm just amazed with on the daily. I get to meet and learn about her journey of self-discovery, which to me seems just mind-blowing. I'm obviously tuned into my own journey of self-discovery, but then to get to have other people on the couch to share that with me has been really incredible. Today, I'm stripping it all off with Crystal. Crystal is a health and wellness coach and founder of My Healing Harmony. Her offerings are especially rooted in supporting Black and Brown communities through culturally aware, emotionally safe, and spiritually affirming practices. Mm-hmm. Welcome to the show, Crystal.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So a little bit of a background for those listening. I met Crystal at a retreat in Sedona at the end of 2024, and instantly just loved her energy. So she has such great energy, and just really enjoyed the opportunity to kind of get to know her a little bit. I think we bypassed all of the early stuff, because at those retreats, it's just kind of like you're really cannonballing into some pretty intense stuff. Mm-hmm. So even on, within 24 hours of meeting Crystal, kind of had some really incredible breakthroughs for myself that were powerful. And then we all just kind of spent the weekend also sharing really intense stuff. And so I don't know a lot about, the top layers of who Crystal is. And so this is kind of going from the bottom up, which is pretty fun. But I'm excited to get to learn more about you and what your journey of self-discovery has looked like.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so funny because that retreat actually, it was really exposing a lot of things that I thought I let go, and I didn't.
Yeah.
And in that setting, you do expose a lot of yourself, right? When you're on a retreat like that, there's a lot that comes up that you thought, hey, I healed from that. And you're like, oh man, I didn't.
Yeah.
And that retreat was so powerful for me in really shifting how I navigate my self-healing, and also how I navigate all of the relationships in my life. So it's personal, professional, with my clients. It really changed a lot because so much was lifted.
Yes.
And it was so great. And I also want to say, like, you had such a vibrant energy. There was so much that you were able to share that really made me want to get to know you a little bit better.
Nice.
And I appreciate everything that you shared. Like, it was really, really, really a great experience for me and all of the lovely women that weekend. So I'm glad that we get a chance to sit down and chat.
It was powerful. I didn't, that was the first kind of retreat that I had gone to outside of like a Costa Rica ayahuasca kind of situation. And it was powerful. I mean, the stuff that, like you said, sometimes you think you release some things and then you just don't realize that they're really deep inside of there. And so I was this morning, as I was preparing to come meet you, kind of recapping a little bit on how that retreat went and kind of thinking about the initial first day ceremony and how all of that came together and how we all kind of connected in the following days. I listened to that beautiful song that you sang. It was still in our WhatsApp chat, and I was telling my daughter about it this morning because we had breakfast, and I was telling her, like, your energy is amazing. And for you to be able to like stand there and sing that song, what a beautiful
Thank you.
That was. Then also saw this silly video of myself dancing and acting like a jackass.
That was so much fun.
It was funny.
But see, that made everyone else want to loosen up and kind of like get comfortable.
Yeah.
And the fact that you were so it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was.
So much fun.
And I encourage people to lead with vulnerability because of that, right? I think about, kind of going in and really being vulnerable on the first day and the breakthrough that I had with that. And then the next night with the fun dancing and whatever, it gives other people permission to be themselves. It really opens it up to be able to have deep connections with other people when you're willing to be your authentic self. Because that version of Anne with the hat backwards, shaking her ass, acting like an idiot, that's the authentic version of Anne,
Right?
But it was lovely because I really had such a special connection with a lot of you women, and being able to, build on that was a big part of the weekend as well. So I love that.
It really was. And I think about my healing and talking through a lot of stuff that came up. My journey started, was probably back in, I'm sure it started, as experiences happen, but it really came to a realization for me in about 2015 is when the journey actually started. And it really started from a spiritual place, right? Because there are things that I am able to feel and see and hear that, maybe the average person isn't aware that they actually can do that as well.
Yeah.
But it started from that place. Even being a kid, being able to sense things that you can't really see. And you're like, what the heck's going on? And understanding, even from like talking to my mom and grandmother, that this is something that a lot of women specifically in my family and my ancestors and the elders that were able to also experience. So moving into that space really started to pull me into a healing space. And honestly, I got into this work because I wanted to work on myself.
Yeah.
And after learning all the things that I was able to gather along the way, I thought, I want to help other people.
Yes.
And you talked about the music. Music has always been a part of my life. Like, I've been a singer. I remember I sang at every graduation that I've ever had. That is preschool, kindergarten, 8th grade, high school, like all of these graduations. And I thought, okay, this is what I want to do. And I actually did it for a little while professionally. When I say professionally, I don't mean like I had an album out and I'm touring. It was just, I got paid to sing.
Yeah.
Right. I got paid to do demos. I spent a lot of time in LA. And even in that experience, when I think about, what if I could have made it and things could have really taken off for me at that time, emotionally, spiritually, I was not ready for that world.
Yeah.
And being exposed to a lot of that, look at all the stuff that's happening in the news today with the case that just, the verdict just came out today with Puffy. I don't think that if I was exposed to something like that, I think I probably would have been a little bit more of a victim in that sense, because mentally and physically and that mature level, it just didn't exist. So not saying that, it didn't happen because of that. God and the universe really put you in a position when things happen to you and you start to think back like, wow, what if that could have happened? There were so many close experiences or close opportunities that, it's going to happen. And it just never did.
Yeah.
And then I became a mom and, then life just happened and I thought, okay, I need to get a real job. I had to pay bills. Yeah. I need
Adulting
benefits.
is a whole thing. Right? Adulting is a whole thing.
I know. So then that journey started. Mm-hmm. And then being responsible for another human, man, that's a whole nother world.
It's savage. It's savage. I don't think we talk enough about what that really looks like for women, right? Because I think from a long time ago, that was just how it was. Women didn't have choices on whether they were going to be a mom or not. We didn't have lots of things, right? We didn't have the opportunity to be able to support our children on our own. And now things have obviously changed and evolved, which is amazing. But it is savage for you as a woman to make another human body, right? I take a little bit of sperm that just gets thrown around.
Right.
And I'm going to create with my body a whole nother human being.
Yeah, and carry it.
And carry and
for
all
10
of
months,
right,
not 9.
Exactly. And
then I average it up. It's a year.
Yeah, I love that average. It's a savage experience. And then it's not like, generally speaking, women don't walk away from babies, right?
No.
Men do it all the time. Women don't do that. So now you have literally another person that's just part of your soul, part of your heart.
Yeah.
I was trying to explain to my 18-year-old son who I just took to college, I said, you don't understand, baby, my heart, because he wonders, like, how do I know when he's hurting? I'm like, we're the same. We're the same.
Yeah.
Like, I made you from nothing. Like, I know when you're hurting. And when you hurt, I hurt.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with my daughter. So it's just, I don't think there's enough credit that's given to moms, especially single moms, right?
Yeah.
Which I believe that you are based on.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that. How did that come about and how old were you and what did that look like?
So I was 26 when I had my daughter, and her father and I were together off and on for like 7 years, and it didn't work out. And honestly, when I think about that relationship, it wasn't supposed to be, right? And so being raised by a single mom and seeing how challenging it was for her, and she's amazing, by the way, I didn't want to be that, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay with this man. I'm going to love him. And I just, it wasn't there. There was love there, right? Love created my daughter. But that kind of connection that you need for a partner to build a life, it wasn't there for either of us. And so it became this really toxic situation that now my daughter's seeing, right? And so I had to make the decision because he didn't want to make the decision to say, okay, we need to dissolve this. So I made the decision because I didn't like who I became when I was in that relationship. I didn't like who I was to her. And I didn't like who I was to him.
Yeah, right. No, absolutely. I mean, he doesn't have to be the villain in that story.
Right. And so, and we both did things to each other that you should not do to a partner. And honestly, you shouldn't do to the parent of your child, And so I don't bash him. I mean, there are a lot of things that I could potentially say, and I'm sure he's saying a whole bunch of stuff too.
Sure, of course, that's his truth, right? People don't understand that.
And so I just decided, like, I need to be a different person, and I can't be that person in this relationship. I'm glad that whatever he's doing, he's happy, and he's married with, he's remarried, because he was married prior to me, and then we weren't married, and now he has a wife. They have 2 children. He has 3 children with his first wife. So I'm happy that he is in a good place, right? And I'm okay. I can send love and to a place without actually verbally expressing it. And I had to also get to a place where I needed to forgive him, right? Because it was like I just carried so much for a long time. And it really affected not just that. And I don't want to put everything on that relationship, which affected all of my relationships after that. It's even the things that, as a child, what I experienced, right? Which probably drew that relationship to me, right?
For sure.
And I don't think a lot of people realize that. I think a lot more people are becoming more aware of childhood trauma and how that affects how you navigate your life as an adult, and your responsibility to heal yourself from those things, right? You can't change what someone did to you, but it's definitely your responsibility to make sure that you are okay on the other side of it. So I don't like to really talk about, my traumas or as a child, because I want to really focus on who I am on the other side of it.
Yeah, but you've dealt with all of that, right? Right. That's part of it. Because I think when people are in relationships or in things in life where they keep seeing these patterns continue, right? Get curious about that. People say, oh, I keep attracting this guy or that guy. Why do I keep saddling up with losers? Know that it's you. You're the common denominator, right? And so when people are willing to get self-aware enough to recognize those patterns and figure out what you need to do about it, to me, that's where life starts unfolding. And Agreed. Is that hard? Absolutely, right? Your trauma from your childhood is not your fault, but as I always say, it is your responsibility to fix it. Not just for yourself, but for the other people, for your daughter, for the other people that you have in your life past that point. And if you're not willing to do the hard work to fix that, then you're going to continue to attract the same exact guy. You're going to attract the same exact situations, the patterns. Once you see them, you can't unsee them. Now that I am on the other side of understanding that all of that just continues to perpetuate whatever it is, now I can look back and go, oh shit, no wonder that. That makes perfect sense. Why did that not work out? Why did that not happen? And you can see exactly why it didn't. So it's fascinating for me to listen to other people on their journeys as well and see what you came up with.
I completely agree, right? All of the relationships, even before that, were the same.
Yeah.
After that, they were the same. And it's like, okay, it's me.
And that's a hard mirror to look into, right? I said that to my husband the other day. He was talking about something. I'm like, you're the problem, boss. And I'm sorry. I don't want to be the one to have to tell you that, but you're going to continue to attract the same exact patterns until you look in the mirror, figure out what you need to do to fix it, and then level up.
And the thing, too, that I think people forget is a person treats you the way that they see you, like how they feel about you, the perspective or how they see you, how important they are to you. What you allow a person to do, that's all on you.
It is.
It is all you.
It is.
Because if you allow someone to continue to behave in a way where it's hurting you or it's making you feel a particular way and you're just letting it go, that's you.
It is.
Set that boundary. I was just talking to a friend of mine who's about to take a trip to Europe for a month with a friend. And she was just talking to me about some things that she wants to talk to this particular friend about. And, it was a continuous pattern of how she's been feeling and how she's been treated. And I was like, that's you, friend. Because you didn't set that boundary.
Yes.
You didn't nip it in the bud as soon as she did it. Yeah. I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I used to.
Yeah.
And I used to get mad at people and they didn't even know I was mad. Because I had an invisible boundary that I didn't even tell them about. Yeah, right. And so they're just crossing it, stepping on it.
They don't even know it's there.
Right? They have no idea it's there. Yeah. And now they're like, what's wrong with you? Yeah. Nothing. And I'm like, oh, wait, that's me too. That's me.
Yeah.
I need to fix that. So now with love, right? Hey, this makes me feel this type of way, right? And it's so funny. When you have been a particular way in any type of relationship, whether it's a friendship, it's romantic, even professional, and then you start to create the boundaries that or make them visible to others. Yes. Those invisible boundaries that you had, people start falling off.
Yeah,
because now you are different to them and for them and with them. So now it doesn't work for them, right? And that's okay.
It's totally okay. People don't realize that people are not necessarily meant to be in your life forever.
No.
And it's okay that your friendship no longer aligns for whatever reason. Yeah. I didn't realize what boundaries even were until my daughter, this is several years ago, and with one of her therapists was saying something about, You have to have boundaries with her. This is really important for her. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I literally did not know what that was. I'm a 40-plus-year-old woman that's like, boundaries, what does that mean? And then I learned what they are, and now I fucking throw them up like crazy.
Yep.
I'm like, oh,
Bam,
boundary,
bam,
exactly.
boundary.
Exactly. And it feels good because then people treat you like you deserve to be treated.
Yeah.
And like, that's my standard.
Or I had a situation, I had a 30-plus year friendship end because I was like, all right, for 30 years, I wasn't exercising my boundaries. I just and so when I start putting them up, and I actually started talking to her about it, right? And then we got into this big blow up, and she mocked my boundaries. You know, it was just like,
no,
your
ma'am.
boundaries. And I was like, wow, oh man. And then I started to see, and then things started to replay in your head. You're like, oh, what I want to say, and what I did say to myself is, were we ever friends for all that time?
Right. Not on the level that you expect to be now going forward.
Right.
That's important.
And the truth is, yeah, but that's how she saw me. Right. So that's why she treated me that way. And the reason why she treated me that way often and all the time is because that's what I allowed.
Yes.
And then it's like, okay, nope, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Now it's, all right, well, we're not friends anymore. Great.
That's okay. And that's okay. And that's the whole thing. Like, you can send that person off with light and love, and it's totally fine. Everything's amazing. It's not that I don't want you to eat. I just don't want you to eat at my table.
Right.
That's it. There's
Bye-bye.
nothing wrong with that.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
And I wish the best for everybody. Like, I don't have ill will for people because I do truly believe that what you put out is what you get back.
Agreed.
Right? So I want my karmic bank to be full of love, abundance, wealth, knowledge, and caring, and like all of those things, because that's what I want to come back to me, right? And so if you figure the formula out, that abundance is going to come to you in ways where you didn't even realize how powerful it is. I remember I used to work at this company here in the Valley. It's actually a really well-known company. And the owner, who I love, he passed away in 2018. He taught me how to pay it forward in a way where you wouldn't think somebody who's, a billionaire and how they, that he's just giving all the time. And he wasn't always that, right? He taught me how to pay it forward in a way where I was like, okay, let me try this, right? And it was one of the, hey, I'm at a restaurant, I'm gonna pay for, I see that family over there eating, I'm gonna pay for their meal, or, those types of things. The first time I tried it, I remember thinking, it happened to me before I tried it. And then I thought, oh, I love this feeling, so I wanna give this to somebody else.
Yes.
And I remember going to like a Starbucks drive-through. I was going to get breakfast for my daughter and get like a matcha something. And I get up to the window and they're like, hey, the car in front of you paid. And I thought,
I do that all the time.
do that?
I do that all the time. I love it.
And then I was like, oh, I want to try this.
Yes.
So I went to maybe the same time frame, a couple of months or a year or so later, I went to a drive-through for a food restaurant. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to get, maybe a Happy Meal. I can't remember which restaurant it was. And I saw the car behind me was a mom and her son. And I thought, oh yeah, I'm going to pay for their food. So my meal, and at the time, I think I'm making maybe 30, 40,000 a year.
Sure.
And I'm like, I paid my bills when the shut-off notice came. Okay. Like that's how I did not have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so their bill, I said, hey, I want to pay for the car behind me. They're like, yes, $33. And I was like, oh, how
Maybe I
much?
should have asked that question
Wait
first.
a minute, because mine is $7.99.
Right.
And then the guy's like, do you still want to pay? Yeah,
Yeah. Double down on it. Absolutely.
I'm still going to pay.
Yep.
And I did. And things just started happening. And I didn't do it because of that. I let the feeling like I want other people to feel the same, right?
Yes.
So I used to run a lot, and I was running this particular morning. And I had my wallet in my running pants. So I get ready for work, I'm rushing, and I typically stop off at I think it was Chick-fil-A or something like that for breakfast. So I get there and I ordered my meal. I am starving. I get up there and I'm like, oh.
Uh-oh.
oh God, I left my wallet at home. And the lady said, oh, it happened. So I was like, okay, thanks. I go to pull off. She jumps through the window almost, like literally. She's like, no, we're going to feed you. And I thought, oh, you guys are going to still give me, it's just like the little things like that. And after a while, I just started doing it all the time. And I love doing it.
Yes.
So then I started paying for groceries. And it typically hits me around the holidays.
Yeah.
There was a woman who looked like she was trying to put her life back together. She was in front of me. My daughter was there. This was probably maybe 2 years ago. And she had essentials on the conveyor belt. It was soap, a towel.
Yeah.
It was a pair of underwear, like this one. And then I thought, oh my gosh. And then there was a separate order where you can see she was probably trying to buy something for a child. And every time she got up, she pulled her cash out. She didn't have enough. So she only got like maybe the toothbrush, maybe the small toothpaste. And then the child, she maybe got like just one like stuffed animal and maybe a onesie. And I thought,
Yeah, not on my watch.
So exactly.
Yep.
As she's, paying for her stuff, and then she got her bags and she started to walk. And there was a young man at the register, the cashier, and I said, son, I need you to put all that stuff on my ticket right now. Just ring it through. And he's like all confused. I was like, hurry up.
Hurry up.
Ring it, catch her. Ring it so I can catch her. And he did. And I gave my daughter my card. I said, pay for my stuff. And I'm running with the cart through the store. I'm running with the cart through the parking lot. And I catch up to her right as she's getting to her car. And I said, ma'am, Merry Christmas. Yeah. And I just pushed the cart towards her and she looked at me and I turned and ran away.
Yep. Because it's not even about any of that comes back to you. It's that feeling of like you didn't know what she was going through, but you really made a difference with her. And I am a huge believer in that. And I love that you say it was when I was, making only $30,000 or whatever it was. I was having a hard time paying my own bills. That's when it's even more important to do because you watch how good that feels. And if you haven't done that as your people that are listening, I highly encourage you to do it. Start with somebody behind you in the drive-through line because then there's no obligation and there's no whatever.
Unless that bill is $30 or $40.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe ask what the bill is for. No, I get it.
I'm kidding.
But it is. It's so important to be able to do that. And I come from that exact same place. And I try not to let myself be the one that dictates it. I listen to the whispers. And so when something tells me that I should do it that day, then I do that. Whenever I do, I get where it is people that were like, shit, I was struggling. My daughter loves to go to Waffle House. And so this was years ago, but took her to Waffle House and I had that whisper of like this waitress that, and so I left $100 tip. She came barreling out into the parking lot like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And again, I'd try to leave it and then run because it's not about me. So, but she literally like came and practically tackled me in the parking lot. I'm like, you have no idea what a big difference this makes. And so just understanding that, it's like, and back then that was a big thing for me, but that's all I had in, cash wise. People don't realize that's what we need in this life. That's what we need in this world. That's the connection. That's the humanity. Even if you don't feel like you have a lot, there's something that you can be giving. Do that. It will come back to you tenfold. Like I really, truly believe that.
I agree. You said the whispers. What's so funny is the part that I left out is this was during Thanksgiving. And my dish that I was supposed to make was, I think it was macaroni and cheese. A staple in the Black household for Thanksgiving.
I love it.
And it's the baked macaroni and cheese. Don't give us that box stuff. But I kept thinking, I don't have any butter. I need butter. And I pull up, and it was around the holidays, so everybody's in the store. And I'm thinking, God, I don't want to go in here. I'll go tomorrow. And and I'm not kidding. I kept feeling like a nudge, kind of like that. And I was like, what is happening? And I'm feeling this nudge, and I'm feeling it. I was like, okay, how am I going to say that I can hear, feel, see all these things and ignore it? Yeah. Okay, let me get up and go in this store. When I tell you every single register was lit, the line was literally just like around the corner. And actually, I'm mixing stories because this is the second one. I get to the counter. I had my butter. This is a second story. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot this. I had literally one thing of butter. There was a family. It was a husband and wife, and they had a child, and they had a cart full of food. The wife looks behind me and she goes, "Oh, you only have that? You can go in front of us." And I thought, "Oh, thank you." Right? So I get in front of them and there was all of the lines were long. This one wasn't. And I'm looking around like, how come nobody's over here? And I think it's because they saw their cart and they thought, oh, we're going to be here for a while. But literally the lines were like in the aisles. So I got in the line. She let me go. And then I heard it. Pay for their groceries.
Yep. Don't ignore the whispers. Don't ignore the whispers.
And then I'm like, well, how am I going to do this and not make these people feel embarrassed or something? So I pretended, you know how they have like the McDonald's in Walmart? Because this was in Walmart. So I pretended that I was like looking at the McDonald's menu because it was literally right across. And I kept looking and I saw when they were done. So I run over with my card. I said, can I please pay for your groceries? And I'm like really low because I don't want anybody else to see or hear. And the husband said, what? And the wife said, no. I said, no, please, just let me do this. Please, please. And then now people are watching. The cashier is in tears.
Right.
Like, no, just let me pay for it so I can run out of here. And I literally just tapped my card.
Yep.
Ran away. And that feeling, because, and it comes from when I was between third grade and sixth grade, we were homeless. And we stayed in homeless. I can remember every shelter we ever lived in. I know the names of them. I can't tell you what school I went to in those grades, because before that, the school that I went to, I remember that school. Between those two times, I don't remember the names of the schools. I can't even tell you what my teacher's name was, classmates, but I remember the exact name of all of the shelters that I lived in. And I remember one of the shelters was across the street from a church that fed the homeless every Sunday, kind of like, they do downtown. And we would get so excited to have like real food, like real meat and not canned meat or real. And we'd just be in the line, just like all happy. And we were never like dirty, like the school, the kids never knew we were homeless. My mom was very, adamant about us being clean. So no one knew. The administration and the schools knew, but none of the students knew. And the shelters that we lived in, it looked like it was just an apartment building, but it was a shelter. So none of the kids knew. But I think that experience for almost 3 years, when I see somebody, I'm like, nope, I'm helping them.
Yeah.
Because I know what that feels like.
Yeah. Well, that whisper, I think, is so important. And I think a lot of people don't listen to the whispers. We are in such a society of just all the noise. There's so many distractions. And I always encourage people to get quiet. Get in tune with your whisper. Because when you're doing that, that's where powerful shit happens.
Yeah.
When you're doing that for the other people, they needed that. Or that, it really sparks something in them. Being able to come from a place of gratitude for what you do have, and it doesn't matter what it is, and being able to share that with someone else, that's everything. Who gives a fuck what car you drive or how much you're able to buy in clothing or jewelry or all of that stuff? Do more of that. That's the shit that sets my soul on fire, because the more that I do, the more that the universe brings back to me. And how do you explain that? The more I give, the more I have. Fuck. I mean, I don't even know what else to say about that. It's literally that kind of a currency.
It's that simple.
It's that simple. And it seems so crazy because it's like, like you said, I'm sitting here, I don't have enough. I've got $7 for my meal, $33 for theirs. And it's like, oh shit, I don't have that to give. But watch as that continues to just gain momentum where you are doing these amazing things. And for people that I think, I've come across people who, same where the grocery store and the guy's like, no, don't. And you're like, no, please let me. Allow other people to bless you.
Yes.
Don't rob me of the opportunity of being able to bless you, because people bless me with stuff all the time. And even though I'm like, no, I don't want them to, I'm not going to rob them of that. Learn how to receive. I think we come from this society where it's so, you don't want to be receiving or ask for help or whatever. And it's
okay.
like,
no, thank you.
Thank you.
And I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Because I know that I'm giving that back. And it's true. Like, you don't want to rob them of that.
Yeah.
It even goes, and this is separate and apart from what we're talking about, but that also goes into like when a woman is on a date with a guy and then you pull your card out to pay. I've done that a few times on dates, and guys are like, why are you doing that? Don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay for that.
Right.
And so, when someone wants to give you something and want to gift you with something or want to bless you with something, allow it to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing how our thoughts are so powerful.
Yeah.
And what you think of yourself, how you see yourself, what you want for your life, speak that into existence as if it is currently happening.
Yes.
Not, I wish I had, I want this. Yeah. No, I have.
Stand in that.
Stand in it.
Absolutely. And have your words and your thoughts back that up.
Yes.
Feel the emotions of what it would feel like to be in what you want to step into. That's the whole co-creation, with the universe. And that's something for me where I'm really starting to get my head around it. And there's shit that's happening in my world right now that just is blowing my mind on the daily, because it is. And I didn't realize that. I was always so hard on myself. And I've, doesn't matter what my past or my history is, but in just this last couple of years of really realizing how I talk to myself, how I love myself, the words that I say, the thoughts that I have so much weight.
It does.
And I watch as the things that I step into, the things that I feel into, and then I just walk into those rooms or into those experiences or into whatever the life is that I want to co-create. It's fascinating.
It is.
To me.
Can I share something with you?
Yes, please do.
That scares me.
Does it?
I know that greatness is right over here, Crystal.
Yeah,
you just got to get over there and grab it.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It's scary as fuck, just so you know. So this was just barely a year and a half ago, that I did this whole, I surrender to the fucking universe. Standing there naked as hell, I surrender. I didn't know where I was going, but I knew that was what was being asked of me.
Yeah.
My life 18 months ago to now, not recognizable. Just so you know, completely not recognizable. But I was at that same point where it was like, I'm just being called to do that and just have mad ass faith in what I'm going to do. And that scares the fuck out of me.
Right.
Because coming from a person that's like, I like to control things, I like to know what's happening.
That part.
It is. That's the part that's so hard, because I thought I had a handle on everything. I got this. And the universe is like, no, I'm gonna take it from here. I'm like, no, I got this. I'm gonna go ahead and do this.
And you don't know that what the universe has is so much better than what you think you're creating. And that's the part that's like, girl, shut up.
Exactly. And that's exactly what happened, is I was just being like, the whispers were getting louder, the knocks were getting louder.
Quiet and listen to that and move in that direction.
Yes. And so when you're saying that, like, it's right on the other side, it is, girl. Go ahead and set that shit down and let's go, right?
It is. And it's funny because I left, so I've been in corporate since my daughter was 2, when I'm like, okay, you got to get a real job.
Right.
And so I've been in that safe space in the corporate world where, you have consistent income, you have benefits, and all of this. And I left for the first time in 2023. Oh God, my mom and my dad are going to see this and go, girl, you left your job. I did. I did. And then I went back last year, and then I just left again in May. And it is terrifying.
It is.
But I have been called to do something that's way bigger than that. And it's not that I'm procrastinating, because I'm moving in that space, but I'm moving slow. Because once it explodes, get ready. I mean, you just said it, right? 18 months ago, your life today, completely different.
Not recognizable.
Right. And so it's not that I'm not ready for it. It's not that I am, I did say afraid. I don't think I'm really afraid. I'm trying to it's like, okay, when this happens, it's going to move fast. The other thing that I feel now that I'm like vocalizing and actually seeing what I am feeling as the words are coming out, I'm a very private person. And on a podcast.
I would say me too, but we started this in August, and I'm like, here's what the inside of my asshole looks like. I mean, that's what it feels like to me. It's like sharing everything. I went from a private person, like I said, 18 months ago, I went from a very private person to now this is what I do. There's not anyone that can't just tune in and listen to me talk about the most private details of my entire life.
Yeah.
But I feel like that vulnerability and leading with that is what we need. That's what I'm being called to do. It has nothing to do with me. It's that whisper on the shoulder that says, girl, you're doing a podcast now. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Right.
I'm like, all right.
And for me, even the same, it's like, no, I don't, like I keep putting it off because it's like, oh, you're going to be exposed. And I know that, you know, I'm not afraid of any skeletons like in the closet that are I'm going to tell you all the things.
Absolutely.
Right?
You stand on business.
Exactly.
Yep.
10 toes down. But it's like, you have to be ready to receive.
Yes.
Don't go in the comments, girl.
So I'm glad that you say that, because so when I started this podcast, that was part of the thing is I had an agreement with the universe. I will do the things, I will say all the stuff, but I will not look at the comments. And when I had my son on, my 18-year-old son came on a couple months ago, and it was the only time that I was actually tempted, because I was checking something and one of the clips had just posted of him, and I saw a comment and I was so tempted to click it, and then I thought, nope, don't do it. So I have never once looked at a comment from this. I will have people that DM me. That's different to me. I will absolutely receive that. But the comments that come in,
don't do it.
I'm not. I have people that do that, and that's my deal with the universe is I can't do what I do now and speak and sit here and say all the things if I have somebody in the back of my ear that didn't like what I had to say.
Because that's going to drown out the whisper that you're supposed to be listening to, and you're listening to the keyboard bandits.
Absolutely. And those are people that are real strong. Those are real strong when there's not any accountability that you have to take. Come say something to my face.
Exactly.
Not in like a defensive kind of fuck you way.
No, but in that way.
But I love you so much, Crystal.
In that way.
In that way. But no, but like everybody can be so strong behind that. And it's like, I'm up here doing the things. I'm doing the damn thing. If you want to sit on the other side and critique, I'm sorry, I don't listen to that feedback.
No.
Right?
Say it to my face.
Absolutely, but
with your chest.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So now you're back to like agreeing with the universe that you're going to go ahead and surrender.
No, I'm surrendering. I am lately. I have been, and it's just like even laying in the bed today, I laid there for like another 30 minutes. I set my alarm for like maybe 5. And I thought, okay, lay here until 5:30. And the mantra kept popping through my head, and I kept repeating it. And it's like, okay, now I need to write this down. And the repetition of writing it down, like the 3-6-9 journal, where you just write down in the morning, you write it down 3 times. In the afternoon, you write it down 6 times. And in the evening, you write it down 9 times. And you repeat that, because what you're doing is creating that energetic, this is what my life is, and not I want to win the lottery.
Yeah, speak firmly.
Right?
Speak
it's
firmly.
It's more like I am currently in a situation where blah 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 blah, whatever that is, right? And so you have to really, really pay attention to that and actually move and action on it, because it's happening, girl.
Yeah,
it's happening. So now I'm in this. I'm in the. All right, I'm going to surrender. I'm going to do it. But it's been that way for years. Like I have friends that are like, all right, well, I mean, it's been calling you, right? We're telling you, but it's just like that thing. It's like, I am private, but I'm not. Because when I talk to people, I expose all the things.
I know. I was going to say, I feel like I've seen a whole lot about you, which obviously we were in a different setting last time, but it is.
Even in that setting, I could have easily been like,
yeah.
Nope. I'll just do whatever the things I didn't have to share, right? But when it's a one-on-one, when it's a topic where I feel really passionate about, or I feel like I can lend something to it, I'm going to share, because my story might help somebody else.
Yes.
Right? My story of, and I don't necessarily like the word survivor, but that's, of a particular thing. But I mean, that's what you are. And I'm thriving now in the life that I have right now. I'm really blessed to be able to be in a situation where I'm not working in corporate. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do want another steady income. I'm not saying I don't want any of that. I'm just saying, and not a lot of people can be in that situation and then move in the direction. The universe is like, God's like, listen, girl, listen. Now, I've been telling you to leave that job for the last 3 years, and you stayed. You were unhappy, miserable. I was so sick physically because I was so stressed out. because it wasn't where I was supposed to be, or at least that thing that I was doing at that time wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. And then it's like, all right, now I'm going to force you out.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest part of how all of that comes about is the self-discovery. It's really getting in tune with yourself. It's really figuring out, doubling down on Crystal and what does that look like, and really being willing to get quiet and listen to the whispers, of telling you you're not happy here. This isn't meant for you.
Yeah.
Go this other way.
I wasn't happy, and it was just my experience in corporate. I work in technology. And the experience for a woman and a woman of color.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was just, it's just like, it's too much. It was just like, I kept feeling like I just kept getting beat down. I remember I got promoted to a director at my previous job. And like a few months later, they have a company that comes in that does like an analysis to see, okay, are all the leaders with this position and experience making, similar salaries. They came back and was, oh yeah, you're not making. I wasn't even at the bottom. So they had to give me a bump. And then I was at the bottom. And it's like, but why? I've been in this field for over 20 plus years. Why am I getting? And I'm like, I know why. Because I'm not a white dude.
Yeah.
Right. And it was just like, and so after a while, I also feel like I feel like I stopped giving 100% of my skills and abilities to my job because it wasn't appreciated.
Say more, if you don't mind, about that whole thing, because I look at it and my career was in construction. And so I obviously dealt with being a woman in construction and the challenges for that. But obviously I don't have any idea what it's like to be a woman of color in an industry. And I feel like I got to a place where I was so resentful from always having to say, here I am, by working twice as hard as every dude that was there. And I got to the point where what you just said about, I'm not giving 100% anymore, which feels bad on you and your spirit, right? To not do that, but I don't blame you because I was in the same situation. You kind of have a double whammy of being a woman and a woman of color. How do you not get resentful? How do you not get upset about that? I mean, or you just do, and then I did
get upset.
Yeah.
I didn't get upset at work, but however, everything that I do shows on my face.
Yeah. You're the meme there. It's like, the words aren't talking, but your face is going, fuck, like, girl. Like, that's a problem.
I'm good with my holding my tongue. Yeah. It's my face that needs discernment because I'm like, no, you didn't. And I'm thinking, I remember one time I was on a call with my previous leader. We're peers now, right? And we're on this call and I had to present this thing to the senior leaders and they are shooting it down. And she pinged me, Crystal, your face. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And so I had to pretend smile, but that's bullshit.
It is bullshit. It is bullshit. I want to try to work towards having conversations so that we can work away from doing that
no,
and what
I
that
don't
looks like.
This. Yeah. And I want you to, I'm going to be respectful, right? But I don't like it. And it's even when we came on the retreat, I did have a little chip on my shoulder walking in there.
Yeah.
I was upset by a few things. And then I was just like, oh, and I remember a lot of stuff started coming up. And I just feel like as a woman, you do have to do extra, right? There are you have to do double time. You have to be even more educated or more experienced. As a Black woman, double that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or quadruple that. And it's just so frustrating. It's frustrating because I see in the climate that we're in right now that it's getting ready to it's happening again. Right? Like we were at a place where, okay, there was diversity, equity, and inclusion. Yay. They're really like, now it's like we're going backwards. Like I can feel the shift, even in the corporate world. Like, there's a shift happening. And now it's like, okay, we got to go back to doing double time, being more educated, being more and subduing your voice.
Yeah.
And, just kind of becoming small. I can't walk in the room with my head up and my shoulders back like I am because I don't want they're intimidated. For what?
Yeah. Well, and also people need to realize you're not intimidating. They're intimidated. That's on them.
Yes.
But I understand what you're saying. How do we do something about that? How do we, for me, I say, okay, I'm offering a platform to say, let's have the difficult conversations. Let's have the conversations that make people uncomfortable. When I recorded with Mel and Drayvon a couple weeks ago, having the conversation of race and a white woman and a black woman, I've never felt so proud, and it hasn't even aired yet, but I've never felt so proud of just being able to hold that space and have those conversations where we say, what does that feel like? Because I think as white women, that's all I can speak for, I'm intimidated because, not intimidating, but I don't want to offend anybody. So when I ask stupid questions about what does that look like? How can that feel like? The way you just described it as, you're a woman, now double that or quadruple that, that hit me like a ton of bricks because it's fuck, I got really pissed off about being a woman having to do that. Imagine if it was, the multiplier of that.
And then they're not calling you out of your name.
Yeah.
Or maybe they are.
Yeah.
But not the same word.
Right.
Right? And then you just have to take that shit on the face.
Yeah.
Because if you say something, you're being combative, you're hard to work with, and that is so frustrating. And so when you see someone, I'm very animated. I'm very passionate. That's just who I am as a person. I know someone who is not black, who's the same way. They don't get the same label that I get.
Right.
Right?
Right. You and I can be the same energetically.
Exactly.
And I get she's a fun,
she's
bubbly,
so bubbly.
energetic, and you're too much. Yeah.
Too much. You're combative. She's confrontational. And it's shut the hell up.
Yeah.
I'm the same person.
That's fascinating.
And my heart is so big, it just frustrates the hell out of me. I want, even in the corporate space, I want to give everything.
Yeah.
I want to show up. But when it ain't appreciated, it's just like in other areas of my life. If I'm in a relationship and you don't appreciate this, bye-bye.
Yeah. How many times do you think?
It.
Yeah. How many times do you think I'm going to keep coming back with that same shit with hitting a brick wall?
But when you work and that's your job and your job is your livelihood, you have to take that shit on the chin. And that sucks because then you go home and you feel small. Yeah. And then you go back to work. Now your attitude is bigger because you're feeling you're still feeling small. And to answer your question, I think having the conversation, but I also think that doing research on your own and then coming to have the conversation, because when you ask a black person, a black woman, well, what is this like? And how is this? It's oh, here we go again. We got to train and teach. No, I don't want to do that. Go do your own homework. And then let's come back and have a conversation.
It's so funny that you say that because I feel that from the white side of this, right? Of okay, I want to ask because I don't fucking know what to do, but also I don't want to ask because I understand your position of fuck off. I'm no, I'm trying to do my own life.
I want you to ask.
Okay.
Right? I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Give me everything.
Okay. If we are friends behind closed doors, and I know this is going to sound stupid, ask me all that shit so I can tell you what not to ask another black woman.
Okay.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Don't ask to touch her hair.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I had this lady at work, and she was a white lady, and she had really curly hair. Yeah. Every time I came to work, she was so fascinated. And she's oh, your hair is so pretty. No, I am not an exhibit at the zoo.
I didn't come fucking ask to touch yours.
Don't touch my hair. Because then that makes because you start feeling, and honestly, it's ancestral trauma. And it's in our DNA. Yes. I remember having this conversation with Chrissy and Maria in the kitchen, one of the breakouts we had at the retreat.
Yeah.
And I'm I need you to understand something. When our ancestors were slaves, your families got torn apart, right? I'm gonna give you two scenarios. In today's world, your son and my son, say I had a son, although I have a daughter, she's so beautiful. Yes. And they both were recognized for doing something great in school. And the teacher's telling you that your son did such a great job. And you're just oh, yes, he's so amazing. He's just a lovely human. And then they ask me, and then I say, oh, yeah, well, I'm sure it took him a long time to get there. Or, oh, I'm sure, he didn't pay attention. Did he talk a lot? You downplay it. So then I realized, because I did research too, and I'm like, why do we do that as Black people, especially Black women?
Yes.
When you were a slave, right? When you were a slave, if your son or your husband or your daughter did something very well, oh, she's strong. Yeah, we could sell her. Your family gets torn apart. So now it's like, oh, no, they're slower. They're going to be hard to deal with because you want to keep your family together. And then over the years, it's just now ingrained and we have to break that cycle. Yeah. So when I used to do that with my daughter as a joke, and now I'm conscious like, no, she's amazing. Absolutely. She is really amazing.
Absolutely.
And so that thing, it is from the experiences of our ancestors and our elders. Even my grandmother, before she passed, she was like really, really intense. And I used to be like, man, she is mean. Sweet, but dang, she's mean to people. Well, her experience was not like mine.
Yeah.
And so you have to, so behind closed doors as your friend, ask me all the questions. So that I can tell you, don't ask.
Right, don't say that. Girl, don't say that.
Don't say that. You want to know? Ask it like this. Yeah. And then do your own research too, like the whole thing with, how I found that out. And then understanding why, why there's oppression, understanding why there is systemic, racism and why that exists. Like do a little bit of research.
Yes.
And then have the conversation, because then we can express what our experiences have been.
Yes.
With whatever it is that topic is. I mean, it's fascinating, and it sucks that we are still talking about this all these years later.
Yeah, but I think we've been talking about it on the surface. Drayvon recommended a book to me called White Tears, Brown Scars, and I've been devouring that the last couple of days, and I'm almost kicking myself thinking, how did I not get to this place of curiosity at this level before?
You didn't have to.
I know, but it makes me feel like happy that I'm at this point, because there's so many things just even in the half of the book that I've read so far, and I've read other books previously, almost to the point where it's hard to read. Yeah. And so, books on slavery, and I'm thinking like, how do you even put yourself in that? And that was really hard before, but now I'm at this place of just such a fierce curiosity that I want to know, but I'm reading about some of this stuff and realizing how the differences between white women and Black women specifically. Yeah. And I'm like, holy fuck, I never even considered it from that. I never even considered a lot of that stuff from those different angles. And I want to have the conversations because I think that's what everyone's craving, of say the honest things between you and I, where I can say, I don't know, and I'm gonna fumble this. I guarantee that I am, but know that that's not my intent.
Yes,
right?
And it comes from a place of love. Like certain movies and books, I can't read it because it makes me angry. And it makes me angry because I'm still experiencing a lot of that shit today.
Well, it's funny because even reading that book, I'm going to be very vulnerable and say this, even reading that book as a white woman, I start to get defensive a little bit. And I'm like, girl, you don't have anything to be defensive about. Shut the fuck up,
No,
like,
but be defensive.
I know, but I want you to.
I understand what you're saying.
But you see what I'm saying?
I understand.
And you have to be self-aware enough to be able to say, this isn't about me being defensive. This is about learning. This is about having the conversations. This is about really being able to expose and have deep conversations about this, instead of like, oh, surface level, we're going to make numbers match and all of that shit.
Be defensive when I say that is feel that feeling.
Oh, no
and what
doubt.
That felt like is like, ooh,
yes. Yes, but let it come up.
Let it come up. Understand what that is, where it comes from.
Yeah.
And then like really process and break that down. I mean, it's I'm glad that we can have these conversations, because honestly, I feel like, and I had a friend, I feel like before the George Floyd murder, we didn't talk about it. Even in corporate, they didn't talk about it. We had meetings with our senior leadership. They wanted to know how we felt. Like it was that thing. And then I had friends who were white friends who were like, hey, can we talk about this? Yes, we can. Yes. Let's talk about it right now. Yeah. And understand, like, even when someone says, I don't see color, you should.
People that say that, that infuriates me. That to me is outrageous.
I understand where you're coming from. Like, I had a white friend. She's like, I don't say that. I said, don't ever say that.
Right, I agree with that. Like that statement just pisses me off.
Just like, I do see the differences.
Absolutely.
And
see my color. Like that's how I would feel if
Yeah.
that was on that side. Like, don't say that we're.
But I understand why
Yeah.
you say that.
Yeah.
You're trying to say, I just see you as you. But no, see me as a black
Yeah,
woman.
absolutely.
So you have to see my color.
Yeah.
But I think you should have those conversations. I really appreciate you even asking.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit nervous because I was like, what is she going to ask me about? And here I am, the one bringing it up. But because I want to be prepared enough to speak to it in a way where it is useful and valuable for you to understand.
Yeah.
So outside of this, we can talk, and then I can say, okay, this is that, research that, don't say that.
Right, exactly.
And just, and I think that if you start there, I feel like it'll lead to a better place.
I could not agree with you more. Well, Crystal, thank you so much for taking time today. I hate to cut it off at that point, but we only have 1 hour, and this is a conversation that will definitely continue as we go, because I think the platform for that and just having honest conversations about what we're feeling and thinking about that, so that we can hopefully spark other conversations with people as well, so that it doesn't seem like it's so off limits. Like, we don't need to just talk about the surface level stuff. There's a lot of hurt there. There's a lot of damage there. It needs to be talked about.
Yeah, and I'd love to be a part of that conversation if you ever have it.
Because you're going to be at my house and on the platform.
I appreciate it. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure.
I really appreciate
Crystal's information will be on our website, you guys, so that you can locate her if that aligns and if that fits. I'm so excited to be able to champion you for the work that you're doing and for your surrender to the universe, because it is scary AF, but it's worth it. It's a wild ride.
I appreciate it.
If you have questions, suggestions, or think you have a story to add and want to be on the podcast, send us an email. Our email address is ladies@letsgetnakedpodcast.com. Please do all the things to support the pod so that we can continue to do this important work. Follow, share, rate, review. We will catch you next time. That's a wrap.